Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Pure Adrenaline Fantasy Sports YouTube channel. My name's John Post. I am the founder and creator of Pure Adrenaline Fantasy Sports. I started creating my own football projections. I didn't trust magazines that were printed months in advance because they didn't give you up-to-date information, and there's too many pay sites to know who to trust. And so I created my own. I will share those projections free every week. There's a link in the description. So during the football season, like I said, I'll provide my projections weekly. I'll host a YouTube show Thursday nights at 7 before the Thursday night games, and then Sunday mornings at 11:30 before the network pregame shows go live. So we can talk about lineups then, injuries that might happen. I won't break injury news. You can follow guys like Adam Schefter from ESPN or Ian Rappaport from NFL Network on Twitter or their Facebook pages. Those guys are usually posting there even before they go on television. So before we get into tonight's game, I want to introduce my buddy Sean, who's going to help me out with tonight's stream. Sean, you there?
I'm here, John.
How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good. Hey, what are you expecting for the season this year?
I think you're going to see two heavyweight teams going at it with the Bucs and the Chiefs all season long. Who's going to be the best team? And then I also think you're going to see a lot of record-breaking seasons with a new added week. I think you'll see a lot of records go down this year and be renewed with the extra week added on.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I agree. A lot of passing stats and rushing stats will all be broken adding that extra game. But that also happened when they originally went from 14 to 16 games also.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I think you're going to see a lot even with defense. I think you'll see maybe even sacks and interception broken with people getting close within 1-2 of the record already with just 16 games, adding that extra game. Mind you, if they're not if they don't sit them or something that last week with possible postseason, you'll see it even broken.
yeah, absolutely. What are you thinking about the NFL every year puts the Super Bowl champion as the Thursday night game to kick off the year? What do you think of the matchup tonight?
I think it's pretty good. I would rather see the Super Bowl rematch to start the season. Maybe see the two teams go back at it again with new teams, new off-season additions and rookie drafts. So, but other than that, I think it's pretty good. I mean, you're seeing Brady get his ring and new banner hung, and you're also seeing the Cowboys with Dak coming back.
Yeah, that'll be big. Dak only played, I believe, in 5 games last year, and he was averaging over 400 yards a game before he got hurt.
Yeah, I think it'll be pretty good to see how he does against the Bucs defense.
Yeah, I'm going to make an early prediction. I think the Bucs will win this game. I think it will be close. I believe it'll be high scoring, but I have Tampa Bay winning 31-24.
Yeah, I think it'll be a pretty high scoring game. I could see it possibly even being like a 38-31 kind of game or 38-28. I think it'll come down to who has the least amount of turnovers on their offense because you got a lot of new pieces on defense now, so you could have a high, either good interceptions or fumbles that could change the momentum of a game, especially if you could score before halftime, get second half kickoff, you could really blow out a team right there and then.
Yeah, so let's dive into some of these projections for tonight's game. Put these up on the screen. In a fantasy format, I have Dak Prescott rated as the 13th quarterback this week. You think that's too high, too low?
I think that's pretty. I think it might be a little too low, but against a good defense, it might also be pretty on point because he might not be able to put up enough points.
Yeah. The only way I don't see someone starting Dak is if you have a Mahomes. Like if for some reason Dak is your backup quarterback in fantasy, and you have Mahomes or Brady or Josh Allen, somebody of that caliber. there's no reason not to start Prescott tonight. I have him passing for 285 yards, 2 touchdowns, and maybe a pick.
I could probably see him up around almost 375 because I think if knowing the Bucs defense, they stop the run, so Zeke's not going to be able to run as good. So I think that you'll see them have to throw the ball a lot more. I could see him almost having probably 40 to 50 pass attempts even a night, just because if they stop the ball from running, they're going to have to throw a lot to get down the field, I think. So I feel like that'll happen, and I also think I think Dak will probably almost have 2 or 3 touchdowns, but I also think he'll get sacked a lot too for throwing a lot.
Yeah, well, in that, and Zach Martin, the guard, is out. He's on the COVID list, so that's gonna hurt. I think that might hurt Elliott a little bit too. I do have Zach as the 10th rated running back this week, but I could see it being more of a passing game. So his numbers might actually come down. But I mean, it's Elliott. You got to start him.
Yeah, it's an automatic start. You can't. He's top 5 when healthy, almost running back in the league, if not top 10 for sure, guaranteed. Even especially with like PPR leagues and all that, you're gonna get a lot of stats out of him because of catching and running. And when they get to the goal line, between him and Dak, they do run a lot of the balls in.
Yeah. Now, jumping over to the wide receivers, if you're watching on the stream, I have in the very left-hand column, I have where I have the player ranked at their position. So in a 10-team league, you're going to start anywhere between 20 and 30 wide receivers for the whole league combined. So I have Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb as must starts, no matter what kind of league you're in. Both getting about at least 6 catches, 70 to 80 yards, and probably both scoring a touchdown.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that one. It's hard to put any Bucs on a guaranteed start role because they have Antonio Brown, Gibson, or not Gibson,
Godwin, yeah,
and Mike Evans. You got Gronk, OJ Howard, and then you got both their running backs and Jones and Fournette, who can get the ball also. So there's so many people that they have to feed down there. Plus you got Shelby Miller too that comes out for certain plays. So it's hard to say you're going to have anyone on a Bucs team have over 6 receptions. But with Brady, once he finds that one receiver he really likes in coverage, he'll just feed him all day.
Yeah, absolutely. Fantasy-wise, that's where it ends for the Cowboys. I wouldn't start their tight end. Blake Jarwin's coming back from injury, so I'd wait to see what happens with him. But I mean, unfortunately, if it does turn into a passing, an air battle, you gotta keep an eye on him. But he is coming back from injury. Their kicker, I don't think, is worth starting. Zerline, and especially their defense. I think Tampa Bay is going to put up a ton of points tonight.
Yeah, I wouldn't start a kicker against the Bucs on opening night, especially when they're going to have the fans back in there. That stadium's going to be rocking tonight in Tampa.
Yeah, all right, and that takes care of Dallas. And going over to Tampa Bay side as a Jets fan, so you got my Jets stuff on here. I hate to say this, but it's time to stop dissing Tom Brady and proving he proved he's the GOAT last year. And if you got him, and unless you have Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Tom Brady's your starting quarterback in fantasy.
Oh, no doubt. There's no reason why you can't start him. You're going to get at least 2 touchdowns a game. You'll get your 1 interception here and there, but to have a multiple interception game or even turnovers with fumbles, I mean, it's hard to see that with Brady. He's not a mistake. He doesn't make that many mistakes. He'll just throw the ball away or just take the sack instead of throwing it up there for an interception.
Yeah, yep, absolutely. And you were talking about all the weapons that he does have before with the running backs, Fournette and Jones. I don't really think they're worth starting fantasy-wise unless you absolutely need a flex option for them.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say they're even. Neither of them are a top 15 running back. I don't think anymore. They with with most running backs nowadays, you only got your guaranteed 5, 6 running backs you're automatic starting. You could even say top 10 with a team like Tampa that has so many weapons at receivers and tight end, and same with running backs because they also have the old running back out of Cincinnati that went down there, and he's even going to be out there on the team. So you have 3 really good running backs out there that once, even with Brady, it's hard to say you'll have one that automatic starts and gets the ball because he's proven that if you're not proven off early in a game, he's not going to hand the ball off to you as much.
Yeah, and that running back was Giovanni Bernard that went to Tampa.
Yeah, he went down to Tampa Bay.
Yeah, yep, and now I know again Tom Brady with all the weapons, but I would actually start Godwin if I have Godwin and Evans. They're in my fantasy lineup. I know they have Gronk and Antonio Brown and Scotty Miller, but these guys are must plays every week.
Yeah, Antonio Brown's going to be iffy. He's more just a big name threat to deep balls, and he's got the short route, quick speed that he'll be able to get going. Gronkowski, he's not an every like down catcher like he used to be up in New England in his first years. Once he started getting those injuries, his receptions in a year and catching yards in a year and everything have gone down. He's more just a red zone threat. So I mean, like you said, I would only start Godwin or Evans if you really need to start them, unless you have someone better. I would say that those are your 2 only guys on the Bucs I would start every week right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And with Tampa Bay scoring as many points as they do, you got to start Ryan Suckup, a kicker.
Oh, absolutely.
Now he will kick more extra points, so other kickers will get more field goal attempts, but they're scoring 3 to 4 touchdowns a game at least.
Yeah, that and being in Tampa Bay, they usually don't have much wind effect down there in Tampa, and with the high humidity and the heat that they're going to be having right now, he'll easily be able to kick 50-yard field goals with no problem, I think, right now. And plus, if they have any issues at the goal line, you might be able to get a short field goal attempt and all that to get some quick points.
Yeah, and for tonight's game in fantasy, if you got Tampa Bay's defense, put them in there. I wouldn't be surprised if they get a defensive fumble or interception return or a special teams touchdown tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And with the offensive line of the Cowboys being very inconsistent over the past few years with injuries and everything, I guarantee, I say at least 4 to 5 sacks tonight.
Yeah,
they'll be all over Dak because he also, once he starts scrambling, if he doesn't throw it away quick enough, he could just fall down and just instead of taking the hits and all that, especially coming back from injury first time.
Right. So I see I have a couple of questions here in the chat. Justin asks, who would you start for running backs for Tampa Bay? Honestly, Justin, I unless they're your only options, I wouldn't play any Tampa Bay running backs. Sean said before they split the carries. Adding Giovanni Bernard is going to hurt some of those carries. So unless it's your only option, I would stay away. What do you say, Sean?
I agree with that. It's when you got 3 heads down there handing the ball off. It's not like college football where if you have 3 people in the backfield, they're each going to get 20 carries a game. Sometimes in the NFL, you have 2 backs that might get 15 carries each, and that third one might get 10, and you might get that breakout run, but you're putting a lot on hoping and praying they get that breakout run. I wouldn't want to do that, especially on first night of fantasy. I'd wait and see like 2-3 weeks down the road. You might be able to see who the starter is going to be more or less.
And Justin asked another question. He said, "Would you say Dallas wins the East?" To me, no. The team I think will win the East is the Washington football team, which we need to change the name already. Can we pick a mascot and go with it?
Yeah, I wouldn't say Cowboys win the East. I think they could possibly play for a wild card. Their defense is just very hit or miss, but they are playing in a very weak division. I could see them winning it, but I also would keep my eye on the Giants. I think the Giants could be a sleeper in that division just because they've always played all their division players or teams really hard, and if you swing one close game or two close games and get that tiebreaker going your way, you'll be set to go.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. It looks like that was all the questions in the chat. No, we have one more from Brett. Should I start Marquez Brown, Chase Claypool, Pittman, or Tyshawn Williams? What say you?
I would. It's hard to say any four of those on a flex. If I would give anyone, I would probably say I would go with Marquise Brown right now, just because with the injuries happening in Baltimore and they don't really have any other main guy that they've known their offense for multiple years besides Lamar and Mark Andrews. I would probably say Brown is the go-to guy that he's going to be throwing them up to. But against Oakland's defense, he might get, if it's a PPR league, Brown could get, like I say, 6-7 catches for about 60, 70 yards, but he also could get a deep ball and get a 70-yard touchdown in one play and get a touchdown for you. So I would say him over the other options.
Yeah, and actually, I have up on the screen the fantasy wide receivers where I have them projected, and I actually have Claypool and Brown. One getting 12.5 points, the other one getting 12.4. Both getting about 5 catches, 60 yards, about a 50% chance they score a touchdown. So
yeah, I would agree with that. It's just with Williams, it's hard to say him being. I believe he's a rookie, and Pittman. They don't really know who's going to be a starting quarterback yet in Indianapolis, so I would see they're going to be. I would think they're going to be more or less going to be running the ball a lot week one until they learn their offense with Wentz if he's back, and they have 3 running backs up there, and Hilton's injured, so I would say probably the safe bet would be Brown.
yeah. And what you were texting me before? What was with all the injuries today in Baltimore?
They lost another cornerback in Marcus Peters to a torn ACL, I believe it was, and they lost their third string running back now, Gus Edwards, to a torn ACL as well on the practice field today.
Oh,
I
is
just
that
saw they signed Le'Veon Bell this week,
Le'Veon Bell? Yeah.
and then they just signed Devonta Freeman off for free agency as well to be his backup. So they got 2 veteran running backs now up there to help Lamar.
That's actually not bad. I mean, I don't know how how in shape they are for ready for games and stuff, but
I would say Bell's probably more in shape. Devonta Freeman, I think he played last year on the Giants, and the Giants weren't that great of a rushing defense or offense last year. I would say Bell, but I'm shocked to see that no one wants to sign Todd Gurley when they need running backs right now. I would think Todd Gurley, I mean, he used to be the number 1 running back in all of the league for many years, and then once he had his knee injuries and then the Super Bowl where they didn't really play him in the Super Bowl, I think ever since then his career has just taken a hit, and I think it'll come along where one team just gives him that chance and he can prove that he's a number 1 running back on a certain team again, depending where he goes.
yeah, absolutely. Justin in the chat asks, do you believe Bell will have a breakout year? Even in Baltimore's offense, I don't think so. Lamar runs too much for my liking. So I know Bell can catch the ball out of the backfield, but Lamar just he's great for fantasy, but he runs the ball himself.
Yeah, Le'Veon, his years are behind him now. After the whole Pittsburgh issues that he had, I think when he went to New York and then he went to Kansas City and the other, I forget what other team he went to. After that, I don't think he'll ever be a top-notch running back again. His prime years are in the past, but I still think you could get a good 10 touchdowns out of him for a full season. But if you have someone else to start over Le'Veon Bell every week, I would recommend that one.
Yeah, absolutely.
I wouldn't trust any Baltimore running back when you got Lamar Jackson who can run for 150, 200 yards in a game and still throw for 150, 200. You can't trust anyone else.
Absolutely. And Justin says Gurley's knees can't handle it anymore.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. He had double knee replacement, and once you have that, I don't think he'll ever feel safe getting hit by a defensive lineman at full speed again and freak another injury out of him and end his career for sure. But I think Todd Gurley on the right team, I would trust him being like goal line expert, especially late in the games. He knows what to do, especially if you have a rookie or something. He would be a good old school runner that I would want to have there to teach him and be a good provider to helping a rookie out, especially with like teams that just want to sign someone like even Pittsburgh with Najee Harris. Even though he came from Alabama, I would still want to have a veteran there to help him and not someone just as young to like lead him and say, if you have this situation and all that, because Todd Gurley's proven in many games late in the fourth quarter and falling down and winning the games that's what it takes to win the games and not cost your team a win.
Yeah, absolutely. What are some of the other games you're looking forward to on Sunday?
No, not without a doubt. I would say the two games I'm looking forward to is the Browns and the Chiefs, and the Packers and the Saints.
Mm-hmm.
Those two playoff teams from last year with a lot to prove this year. I think the Browns have a chip on their shoulder to say that they're here to stay for a few years, and to go up and beat them to have a chance to beat them in Kansas City. I think that would be a big momentum swing for the season for them. And I also think that Mahomes has a chip on his shoulder to prove that the Super Bowl was a fluke and he won't play like that game ever again. And with the Packers and the Saints, I just think Aaron Rodgers has the biggest chip of any quarterback this year on his shoulder. And I think he's going to have a lot to prove to say that he wants the Packers to be his way and he wants to be a team leader and help get the players there that he needs to win a Super Bowl again, to win a second. Where the Saints are, I wouldn't say they're in a rebuild, but they have a lot to come back from, especially when they just lost Drew Brees, who was a leader for multiple years, and Michael Thomas isn't there for the first 6 weeks due to injury, and you only have Alvin Kamara, and then you have a bunch of rookies or like second, third year guys on your team. So I would say those are your best two games for a Sunday game.
Yeah, how do you Justin asks, how do you think Winston will do under Peyton? Do you think he'll have a great year?
I want to see how he plays the first 3-4 weeks. He hasn't really played a game since he had his eye surgery, 2 years ago, I believe it was, after the Tampa Bay year where he had
30 touchdowns,
30 touchdowns and 30 interceptions. So I think he has a lot to prove, but I also don't think he'll have the breakout year like we think he will. They also paid Taysom Hill a lot of money to be a backup quarterback, I should say. So you're going to see, I think, a lot of two quarterbacks and Wildcats on the field at once coming out of Tampa, out of New Orleans. I think you'll see a lot of like flea flickers and Wildcats, so teams aren't sure if they're watching Hill or Winston, who's throwing the ball. I think you'll see a lot of trickery coming out of there, especially from Sean Payton under as a head coach there. He's shown it in the Super Bowl going for an onside kick to win it.
Yeah, absolutely. The games I'm looking forward to, like you said, definitely Cleveland, Kansas City. I think I know you said you think Cleveland's got a shot to go in there and beat them. I don't think so. Kansas City has completely revamped their offensive line. They are pissed off from the Super Bowl last year, and they're gonna dominate this year. I could see maybe them losing. I'm not going to go record wise, but division games like Denver could beat them with that defense. Something like that.
I think if you're going to pick any division team that could beat them, I would definitely say the Chargers, because I think Justin Herbert's got the offense clicking on all heels, and their defense is getting Derwin James back from injury last year. So, and he's the definite leader on that defense. So I think the Chargers could definitely hand the Chiefs one, even maybe two losses this year.
Wow. Yeah, the other game I'm interested in, and not just because it's my Jets, but I am interested in seeing the Jets going up against Sam Darnold. They traded him away. Now I understand doing that because you had the second overall pick. You get the contract reset with the rookie quarterback. So, but I just think Sam Darnold is broken. Adam Gates literally broke Sam Darnold.
Yeah. I think, truthfully, I'm not even going to sugarcoat this one. Sam Darnold's career is a backup quarterback at most. And I would not be shocked if by the end of the year you see the XFL player PJ Walker as a starting quarterback there, because him being mobile, it'll help their offensive line that's not that great. And it'll also help with Christian McCaffrey, because McCaffrey is that backfield running back who wants a mobile quarterback around him like he had with Cam Newton for so many years, who could run out, roll out, and then throw the ball deep to him, or even just do a short screen pass over the middle and get him first downs. So I would not be shocked if Sam Darnold starts no more than 6 games this year as a starter.
Wow. That's crazy. And McCaffrey, unfortunately, going up against the Jets, I still have McCaffrey rated as the number 1 fantasy back this week.
Oh, no doubt. He is, without a doubt, when 100% healthy, the best running back in the league with receiving and running the ball. If he is not 100%, I, without a doubt, not being biased as a Minnesota Viking fan, I would say Dalvin Cook is the number 1 running back if CMC is not at 100%, just because he can catch the ball and his mobility and the running backs as a running back and seeing the field 100%. He's proven it last year against Green Bay with 4 touchdowns in a game, and then another game he had 3 touchdowns in a game last year. He has proven that he could definitely catch the ball and be a good receiver, as well as running the ball and breaking one out and going off every game.
Yeah. Justin says Sam Darnold is still seeing ghosts down in Carolina.
He is seeing ghosts wherever he goes at any field anymore.
And just so you know, Justin in the chat, Justin's in our fantasy league.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, Minshew Mania. So.
But I also saw he asked, "How do you think about Trevor Lawrence?"
Trevor Lawrence. Actually, for the first week, not going over the yearly stats, I actually have Trevor Lawrence rated as the number 10 quarterback this week, going up against Houston.
Yeah, he's playing against a really bad team, which will be probably an 0-17 team and break a record for the most losses in a season.
Oh yeah, yep.
But I could see Trevor Lawrence being great for certain games, but I also see him being really bad for a lot of other games. He's going to make a lot of rookie mistakes, I think, this year.
Yeah.
Overall in his career, which is any quarterback or rookie, should I say. But he also doesn't have the big name threats to his backfield. He lost Etienne, his rookie running back out of Clemson as well.
Oh, yeah, yep.
But he has DJ Chark, who's already got a finger injury. He has Marvin, I think it's Marvin Jones, who used to be on Detroit. And he has the other wide receiver.
Let's take a look here.
I forget the other wide receiver, but I mean, I could see him still going off for 250, 300 yards a game. But he's got to learn that he is no longer a mobile quarterback like in college, or else he will be injured really quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. Some of the other games, I'm gonna look at the schedules here, and I'm gonna give you 3 games that I guarantee I know who the winner will be. You ready?
I'm ready.
Tonight, Tampa Bay.
No doubt.
Tampa Bay's winning. I have the 49ers beating the Lions.
That one could be a coin toss. It all depends on Jimmy G coming back from injury and if the Niners defense does show up. But I could see the Niners. I would say the Niners have a good shot to win that game without a doubt.
Yeah, and the game I love the most this week, I have the Chiefs beating the Browns. I think you are overhyping the Browns.
Hey, you can't overhype a team that has been garbage for many years.
Oh man, I actually like that they got into the playoffs last year and they beat Pittsburgh.
Oh, I absolutely love that. I mean, they would have beaten the Kansas City Chiefs there and would have won against the Bills for the conference title if it wasn't for that 4th down
Yeah.
play late in the game there. If they would have gotten that, it would have been, I think, a game changer. It could have been possibly a career changer even for the Browns organization.
Yeah. Justin says, as an Eagles fan, I'm very excited for Devonta Smith. Thought it was a great move to pick him up. Hope he stays healthy.
That'll be his biggest key.
Yeah.
He is a very skinny guy for a wide receiver.
Mm-hmm.
And with cornerbacks these days, I would not be shocked if someone doesn't give him a veteran hit in week 1 and teaches him a lesson or two on the NFL and how the hits go around there.
Yeah, yep. And Jalen Hurts. I mean, I do have Hurts in my top 12.
I think Jalen Hurts is being a second-year guy. He has a lot to prove, especially since they just traded for Minshew. So he wants to prove that it's his offense, he can run it. And I don't think he's a bad quarterback at all, actually. I think Jalen Hurts could be a top 10 quarterback by the end of the year with him being mobile. He's another one of those quarterbacks that has to learn when to run and when to get down and when to get out of bounds. They have to take a page out of Tom Brady's book and just throw it away or just lay on the ground nicely and don't get popped.
Yeah,
Tom Brady learned real well never to get hit, and he's proven that with 22 years in the league and 7 Super Bowls.
Yeah, unbelievable.
And you think about it, he could have, 11 championships.
He needs to
10.
retire.
He could have 10.
He needs to retire.
You're his number 1 fan.
No, I'm not. Hey, listen, Sean, thanks for joining me tonight. I know it was first one. I'm going to do this every Thursday night at 7 o'clock, and then Sundays at 11:30. So anytime you want to come on, let me know, and I'll bring you in.
All right, sounds good. It was nice being here and answering some questions.
Yeah, thanks, bud. We'll talk to you.
It was nice being here to answer some fan questions.
Yeah, some fan questions, yeah.
But
yeah, absolutely.
I'm excited to see how this turns out, and I can't wait to watch on Sunday.
Yeah, all right, man. We'll see you. Bye. All right. So that was the very first episode of our YouTube channel here. I have some links down in the description. I have week 1 fantasy projections link down there. I have some affiliate links down there. I have a merch shop if you're interested in any of that. If you're on YouTube, hit that like and subscribe button. And we'll be back Sunday at 11:30, and we'll see you then. Bye for now.